understand this. I am 1,000% in on Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, particularly the Indiana Fever. I'll tell you the point I'm in it at. One of my favorite people to interview in Indianapolis is Lynn Dunn, the general manager of the Indiana Fever. Lynn is awesome. She's a former champion coach at Purdue. She coached at Kentucky. She coached the Fever to a WNBA championship. But here's the impact of Caitlin Clark. And I say this somewhat facetiously. Last couple years, the Fever have been awful. Last year, I didn't do a radio show in Indy, but for 14 years prior, I did. I think in my last year, I never once spoke of the Indiana Fever. Not one time. Zero. They were the worst team in the league, and I never spoke of them. Now, Lynn Dunn, the general manager, is going to be and have a weekly appearance on my show. Why? I'll tell you why. Well, I like Lynn Dunn. She's not afraid to swear. She got a great voice, and she's pretty much awesome on anything you ask her. But two, Caitlin Clark, number 22, comes to the big city. That's right. Last night was the WNBA draft, and the world was set on fire here in Indianapolis. I hesitate saying that because a few years ago, during the idiotic riots, the world was set on fire, so that's a bad analogy. But let me go this route. Every jersey was sold. Fanatics.com ran out of whether it was extra small, medium, large, XL, double X, even the biggins wanted jerseys. That's right. The biggins wanted the triple X, and they sold out of it all. But you know who wasn't there? Do you know who wasn't allowed to be there? Us here at OutKick, America's fastest growing sports culture, you name it, political website. Why? Because our friend Danny Z had the audacity to ask Dawn Staley a question, a simple question. Should biological males be allowed to play sports against women? And that question set the world all afire. See, here's what I think should have happened. When asked, Dawn Staley should have said, hell no. We fought too hard. Hell no. There's a place for men, biological men transitioning to women to play, and it's against men. There's a place for women transitioning to men. It's against the men. It's that simple. She didn't do that. She hemmed and hawed and gave a really dumb answer. Well, the WNBA had a chance last night to do something, and they got it ass backwards. They had a chance last night to not only invite OutKick, but embrace the question by saying, no, absolutely not. Biological men transitioning to women, go play with the men. Biological women transitioning to men, go play with the men. The attack on women's sports is wrong. They had a chance, but what did they do? They went woke, and that's not great. They had a chance to say for women, this is us. And to make no mistake, if all of a sudden dudes in beards start playing in the WNBA, it'll be fascinating at first. And then the WNBA, as we know it, is going away and it's over. Done. So they should embrace Danny Z's question. We, ladies and gentlemen, embrace Danny Z's question, even though Clay Travis and OutKick and the rest of us were denied a credential to the happenings last night, the WNBA draft. But undaunted, we shall not falter. That is in the Indiana University fight song. Never daunted, we shall not falter. Katie McDuffie was there, damn it. And Katie joins us now. You were the woman on the street. And some background. Katie's a Division I athlete, former Division I athlete.
Don't misgender me.
Oh, what is that? Give me again.
Not man on the street. Don't misgender me. We were talking about this before the show.
I think I said woman on the street. Did I say man?
No,
you
did. I'm just playing with you.
I didn't want to screw that one up. I didn't need that. But anyway, Katie's a Division I, former Division I athlete. She is a star here, and you went on the street last night. Tell me about the experience.
Yeah, I mean, so we didn't get any sort of credentials to the event, and we ran into a producer who applied at the same time as us. She applied late, and she was granted limited access, and we weren't. And the question is, why weren't we given the same opportunity as them? And the answer is, they don't want the tough questions that OutKick's going to ask. And it's actually not a tough question. It's a very simple question. Should a biological male should be able to compete in the WNBA? And they want to protect their female athletes, but they're doing nothing to protect them because they're pushing forward this agenda that is completely ridiculous.
I think they should embrace it. I think they should come out and say no, but I think they're afraid of one of their biggest audience is the LGTB community, right? And the T is transgender, and feels like to me they're afraid of alienating an audience. That's why they would never address this until some dude tries to put on a uniform and play against Caitlin Clark. Then they're going to have to address it. And Katie, I believe that's coming.
And, it's so scary because I'm a former Division I athlete, as you mentioned. And, you see young athletes like Peyton McNabb who have serious injuries after facing a biological male. So it's just, we're at the point where women are not only losing out on opportunities, but it's going to take, people really getting hurt. And it's happened before. And for some reason, people don't listen. And this is happening every single day. I mean, I actually talked to someone yesterday when I was at this event, and she told me that she competed against a trans athlete and she was actually cool with it, which was really surprising to me. But people are so silenced because if she goes out and she says what she's actually thinking, which is that this isn't fair, I shouldn't have to compete against a biological male, then she gets automatically canceled for it. And so, people are so silenced. And it's so funny too, because there was one person that came up to me and she said that she really appreciated what OutKick was doing. Meanwhile, the majority of the people were actually heckling us. They were screaming at us that we were transphobes and that OutKick is horrible. They were cursing at us. But the one person that came up to me, that meant so much to me because, I asked her, would you want to do an interview? And she said no. And I think that really is representative of the silent majority of people that, can't speak up. They're the people that don't want to be in front of the camera. They're the people that work hard every day and just want fairness. So, I mean, it was crazy to think that all these people were screaming at us and they have no argument to back it up. I mean, at the end of the day, science is on our side. Biological men are naturally stronger and naturally faster than females, and there's nothing that they could do about it. So us going and asking these tough questions, which aren't actually tough, it might be uncomfortable for us because we're put in a situation where people are screaming at us or they're yelling curse words at us, but I'm willing to do it. And I'm willing to be brave to ask the very simple question that people aren't really willing to answer.
What did the CBS person have to say?
She just had to say that she applied at around April 8th, the same time as we got in touch with them, because we originally applied April 2nd, but we didn't apply through the right credentials. So then when we finally got in touch with the right contact, she applied we got in touch with we got in touch with the WNBA around the same time that she did, and that we weren't able to get the access that they got.
You have video, right? You got some video from last night?
No, we don't have video of us talking to her from last night, but we did speak to a lot of the WNBA fans who were out there supporting Caitlin Clark. And we asked them, do you think it's fair that biological men should be able to compete with females? And I don't know. I don't know if you have that video.
Yeah, let's take a look. We got it, right?
In sports, and there's a big debate going around in sports if biological men should be able to compete on a women's team. Do you think that they should be allowed on the WNBA rosters?
If someone feels they are a woman and is a woman, then they should be playing women's sports.
So even if it's like LeBron James?
Yes.
If LeBron James could compete on a women's team?
If LeBron James is going to transition and become a woman, then I think that he should play in women's sports.
I mean, of course, you can get into the weeds of testosterone levels, whatever, but I think if she's a woman, and let her compete. We can't take away sports away from trans people. So I think it's important.
Do you think that it's fair, though, that a biological male who's naturally stronger, faster, and bigger is taking away opportunities from women?
I don't like the way that question is phrased, so I don't think that is, first of all, how that should be phrased, right? Again, education and information and knowledge about hormone levels should be first and foremost learned about before that discussion takes place.
So do you think that a WNBA team can beat an NBA team?
Yeah, most definitely.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Pistons.
Come on, you
Raptors.
don't think that.
A WNBA team will be a Pistons, Raptors, Wizards, Spurs, and let's say one more team. I'll go the Nets.
So people do think. I think you ran into a crazy bunch of people. The one lady with the hormone levels, she was very, very calculated. Hey, good for them. I mean, if people think that, they haven't had a ball smashed in their face or they haven't had a daughter who's been an opportunity taken away is how I look at it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. Maybe they're right, Katie.
There is no way that any of those people have played a sport in their lives. I'm just convinced. And, it's just so sad that people actually think this. I went into this MOS thinking that, there's no way that people actually think this way, but they do. And it's just so sad because this agenda is being pushed forward. And, I can't imagine a world where an equal playing field didn't exist. I played lacrosse on a Division I team. We were the #1 ranked team in the country at one point, and it has completely shaped who I am today as a person beyond my 4 years of college. It has made me want to wake up earlier than everyone else. It has made me want to work harder than everyone else. And it completely has shaped who I am today, which, Dan, I know you know very well as a former athlete yourself. And just to go back and correct myself, we were talking about the timeline of the credentials. We originally applied on April 2nd, and then we had someone with the WNBA reach out to us 8 days later and say that, the credentials were denied, and that we wouldn't be able to have any access at all. And it's just crazy because the CBS producer who we were talking to got in contact with the WNBA at the same exact time as us, and they were granted partial access while we weren't. So it's just crazy to think that we live in a world where we can't ask very simple questions. Should a biological male be able to compete in the WNBA? Caitlin Clark should be asked this question. Angel Reese should be asked this question. We should be able to have access to these athletes to be able to ask the question that no one's willing to ask.
Of course. Look, and maybe the answer is yes. Okay, maybe the answer is yes. Maybe we're so crazy in our society right now, like you just saw right there, that, but the question has to be asked. I mean, I'm sorry, because eventually this is going to happen. I don't care what if 10 years ago you were in college probably yesterday because, you're only 21 years old. I get that. But 10 years ago or 5 years ago, this would not even – when you were in college, this was not even a question. And you weren't in college that long ago is my point. And now what 5 years from now, it's not out of the realm to say that this is going to be a real issue for the WNBA, right? I mean, that's how I look at it.
I mean, in college, I actually did face a similar scenario in 2017. We were supposed to play the #6 ranked team, North Carolina, but we weren't able to face them because my woke university, Stony Brook University, said that we weren't able to compete in North Carolina because their transgender bathroom laws, which was absolutely ridiculous. Geez. So instead, we actually had to play the #1 ranked team, Maryland, on their home turf. And we traveled to them. We lost by 1 goal in overtime, which was devastating for me. I mean, I lost out on an opportunity to win a national championship because of that. And, I'm not the type of person that likes to blame the refs because, I think you have to be better than bad refs. But on their home turf, they had a million more calls than us. And it was a completely unfair game. And I really do think that our team could have won a national championship if my woke university allowed our team to play in North Carolina. And if you think about it, it's so ridiculous because, they like to think that they're feminists and they care about women. But imagine having that ripped away from you when you're a female athlete. It's the exact opposite of what the feminists are promoting or should promote, which is pushing women forward.
Yeah, I got in trouble. I was on Colin Cowherd's show when I was at ESPN, and I'm like, this bathroom law is just, because Indiana had the same law, and they were asking me, I go, okay, if it's a problem, just put a sign that says unisex. I don't care. I mean, who gives a damn? I mean, but the number, and now that's what they do, and you got affected by it. Katie, thanks for everything. Thanks for going out there. Anybody throw anything at you?
No, it was more just curse words, and they were calling us transphobes, but all good. Producer Nick went with me, and we felt pretty good being there, even though it was uncomfortable. We knew that we weren't wanted there.
Yeah, well, you could tell that's a tough crowd. I mean, that's tough crowd. That's that's a crowd that's going to stand up. Katie, thank you, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Here's my thing about the throwing, and thanks to Katie for going out there. Why are we mad? Why are we cussing? I thought those folks were the most inclusive. I thought the trans and the LGTB and pride and love, and you love who you love, and we have to find out who you're stooping, and if you don't tell us who you're stooping, then you're some. I thought we were all good. I thought we were all good.